going on, guys? My name is Austin. This is the Bodies in Business podcast. And today we're going to talk about mindset, and specifically your mindset when it comes to eating healthy and then also exercise. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because this lady named Alia Crum has actually done a lot of research in these two areas to show that when a person drinks the exact same milkshake 2 weeks in a row, but they're told that it's a high calorie milkshake versus a low calorie milkshake, their body actually responds in a different way. And we're going to get into that. And then we're also going to talk about how a group of hotel workers, two groups, do the exact same thing every day. When you tell one group that they're actually getting exercise throughout the day and the things that they're doing is exercise, they actually lose weight, their blood pressure gets better, and they feel better about themselves. So mindset, we need to probably define what that is first, and then we'll get into these things. Well, mindset on a scientific level is a mental frame or lens that selectively organizes and encodes information. And if that doesn't, completely make sense to you, I was like, I need to dumb this down a little bit for myself. So a mindset is the way your brain looks at and understands the world. It's like wearing a pair of glasses that changes how you see situations, challenges, and opportunities. So how I say that is like when let's say you're going into eating a meal and you see a salad on the table. And you look at that salad, and in your mind, you're either thinking, man, that looks really good and that's going to fill me up. Or maybe you're thinking, God, salad, like that's not going to be great. Like that's a mindset going into something and having these, perspectives or preconceived notions about what something is, or even like exercise. If you think that walking, 10,000 steps in a day is not exercise, but you actually have to go to the gym, that's a particular mindset that you have about exercise. And so the reason why that's important is because when people have these specific mindsets that aren't necessarily helping them, you need to understand how you can change your mindset just a little bit in order for yourself to be like, oh, I actually am getting enough exercise if I'm walking 7,000 steps in a day. Or, this salad is huge and it's actually probably going to fill me up because it has X, Y, and Z in it. And I know that's going to fill me up. So this is why I want to jump into this, is because we all have these specific mindsets and preconceived notions. We're wearing these glasses that tell us certain things about the world. And there are specific research studies that Alia Crum has done to try to, flesh out why this happens and how a mindset can actually change the way our bodies react to food and exercise. So let's jump right into it. Alia Crum did an exercise study with a group of hotel workers. When they surveyed these hotel workers about getting exercise, a third of them said we're getting zero exercise throughout the day, which obviously is not true if you're walking around and you're moving a bunch of stuff, but that's what they thought. And then the other 2/3 of the hotel workers averaged 3 out of 10 on how much exercise they were getting. Then they broke the hotel workers up into two groups, all right? And this is where the fun part happens. One group of hotel workers, they said nothing to them. They basically didn't tell them anything about exercise, health, or anything like that. They just let them be. That was the control group. The other group, they told them, hey, you're actually walking a lot during the day. You're moving around. You're moving your body. That's actually exercise. That's really good for you. You're getting at least X amount of steps during the day. That's awesome. So then they let the group go for 4 weeks, and they came back and they surveyed them. So they took a lot of biological diagnostic tests. And when they came back, the group that they didn't tell anything, nothing changed. They stayed the same, still didn't feel like they exercised now. The group that they told, hey, you're actually walking around, you're doing a lot of exercise, they lost weight, their blood pressure got better, and they felt better about themselves. And that was the cool thing, is like just the mindset change that these hotel workers had put them in a better state physically, mentally, and overall emotionally about their job, which is really cool, because I think a lot of people in today's world probably do some exercise. They walk enough, they move enough during the day, and they just don't realize that's good exercise for you. And so that's just one research study that just shows that just having the right mindset about what you're doing can actually change the way your body responds to things that you're doing throughout the day, which is really cool. Now, obviously, if you're sitting all day and you're not moving at all and just saying, you know what, I'm getting enough exercise, that's probably not going to, change too much because you're actually not moving. But it's for the people that are already doing something and just doing that mindset shift so that maybe I am getting enough exercise throughout the day. If I'm getting 7,000 to 10,000 steps, that makes me feel good that I am actually getting enough movement. So that's number one. Your body and your mind can actually have a huge effect on the way you're doing things throughout the day. If you hate exercising, like you hate going to the gym, but you love to go play basketball, go play basketball, 90% of the time, because that's going to actually probably going to make you feel a lot better on a day-to-day basis. And then maybe if you got to do some strength training to do for your muscles. But overall, you want to know and you want to feel like the exercise that you're doing is beneficial for your mind and body. So that's the exercise piece. The nutrition piece for this was interesting. They brought this group of people in and they told them, hey, we're trying to create a very indulgent, high-calorie milkshake for people, and we want you to test it out. That was the first week. Well, they said their ghrelin levels were 3 times less than the next week when they tested for if the milkshake was a diet milkshake. So what they did was the milkshake was the exact same calories. The milkshake didn't change. The calories of the milkshake didn't change. But when they told them it was a high-calorie milkshake, when they drank it, they were like, oh, this is very filling. It's delicious. It's very good. And then the next week, when they told them it was a low-calorie diet milkshake, their ghrelin levels stayed 3 times higher because they didn't feel like they were getting enough to eat. And it was the same calories both times. So they told them it was like a 600-calorie milkshake and like a 200-calorie milkshake, but it was around like 300 or 400 calories. And so both times your body actually responds in a different way if you feel like you're getting enough to eat or if you don't feel like you're getting enough to eat. And that's important because what I'll say is I try to eat foods that are very nutrient dense and are going to fill me up. And I know foods like potatoes, rice and beans, meats, vegetables, all these things and good protein are going to fill me up and make me feel full because I want to feel full. I want to eat nutrient dense food. But if you have it in your mind that eating healthy food is going to feel like you're hungry all the time, that's a mindset that you have that you can break if you're eating foods that are actually going to fill you up. Now, obviously, if you're eating, just iceberg lettuce for a salad and you're like, man, this is going to fill me up, probably not going to happen. But if you're adding a bunch of different stuff to that salad, like proteins and carbs, good carbs, and other types of vegetables, then yeah, that's probably going to fill you up and you're going to feel more full. All right. So that's the second thing is the exercise piece where maybe you don't even know that you're getting enough exercise. So track that and see if you're getting enough exercise. Number 2 is the eating piece. The eating piece means we have to understand that like healthy food can taste good and fill us up as long as we're getting enough of it. A lot of times when people start to go on their wellness journey, they don't eat enough healthy food to fill them up. They feel like, I got to eat this small salad in order to lose weight, which is not the case usually. If you're tracking calories or just tracking the meal that you eat, you'll see that you can actually eat an abundant amount of food, usually that is healthy and nutrient dense, and you're gonna feel full. But if you are starving yourself and you feel like that's the only way you're gonna be able to lose weight, that's when we get a negative mindset or a mindset that's not gonna help us want to eat healthy food on a consistent basis. We're always gonna be looking forward to the desserts or the foods that are fried or packaged and stuff like that are. Now I wanna talk about 3 steps to handling stress. And Aaliyah Crum talked about these 3 steps to handling stress, and I really liked them. She said, step 1, acknowledge that you are stressed. Own that stress, all right? So a lot of times we want to be like, no, I'm not stressed. I'm good. I'm not stressed. The first thing you need to understand is like, if you have that feeling, if you feel stressed, be like, all right, I'm feeling stressed right now. How can I do something to handle this stress, to embrace this stress, all right? That means step 2, welcome it. So she said, step 1, acknowledge that you're stressed. Step 2, welcome it. That stress is something that you care about. And this is not saying this is not like chronic stress. This is like a stressor. So like for me, sometimes I'll bring it back to like business. I stress about getting enough clients for Flybody's, reaching out to schools. How I handle or welcome that stress is, man, I really care about growing this business. And so I care about growing this business. I'm going to go research other schools so that I can call them and get on the phone with them and make stuff happen. And that helps me cope with that stress. I welcome it because I'm like, I care about this. So the third thing is step 3, utilize that stress response to achieve the thing you care about. And I kind of jumped to step 3, but step 1, acknowledge the stress and own it. Step 2, welcome it. The stress is something you care about. And then 3, utilize that stress. See that stress as a catalyst to make you want to go do something about it. Don't focus on that stress and say, oh, this is terrible, and not do anything about it. Because if you do that, then you're just going to be chronically stressed about it all the time. The trick is, it's not even a trick, but what you need to do next is actually do something to combat that stress and to say, you know what, when I say combat, I mean like I'm going to take action so I'm not as stressed about this because I'm doing something to prevent what I'm stressed about from happening. Okay. So those are the 3 steps. I really like those. I won't go over again. I won't beat a dead horse, but then there's 4 mindsets that actually influenced, there's 4 sources that influence our mindsets. Okay. She talks about our upbringing, how our parents talk about stress, food, and other things. That's in the wellness realm. So how did your parents talk about food? Did they always say we were going on a diet? Did they say like working out, you got to go to the gym? Did they say, I do HIIT classes, insanity all the time? Do I like to run? All these things. All right. Your upbringing is a huge one. Number 2, the culture and media that you surround yourself with, the movies, the podcasts, the shows that you watch. These are very important because they are going to shape your mindset about certain things. If you're watching influencers tell you go on crash diets and you have to eat this supplement or drink this supplement in order to be healthy, that's probably going to have a very big impact on your mindset on how to be healthy. All right. I know that when Andrew Huberman talks about drinking AG1, I go, man, AG1 is probably something that, is super helpful. And I did drink AG1 for a while and now I don't. I go through cycles and I realize that I don't have to drink AG1 to be healthy. It probably does help me get my vitamins and minerals, across the board, but I don't think that I have to do it in order to be a healthy person, right? And that's just a certain specific example. Now, influential others, doctors, close friends and peers, and that's probably more of what I just said. But even people like Rhonda Patrick talk about creatine, and like guys like, what's his name, Tim Ferriss talk about creatine. So I tried creatine for a while, and honestly, I think it helped me, but I don't take it right now and I feel fine. So like there are so many times when influencers have a big impact on the things we do. If you hear something from a doctor, if you hear something from subject expert, matter expert, a SME. Hopefully you hear the things that I'm talking about and you're like, oh, that sounds pretty normal. That sounds like I could do that. And it's good information. All right. And then the last one is conscious choice. So you have mindsets that on your own that you build and you go, you know what? I've lived this. I've done it to myself. I've actually experienced this many times. I know this is the case because I've done it. Now, one thing you need to understand is you want to have growth mindset a lot of the times, okay? And this is the first time I'm talking about that. But a growth mindset is we're always working on ourselves. We're always trying to make ourselves better. That doesn't mean you throw everything you know out the window all the time, but that just means maybe take little bits here and there and try to understand yourself and what's going on around you a little more, all right? So that was a lot of information, but I want to leave you with this because this kid gives me in the best mindset about just life in general. And whenever I feel, I watch this sometimes because I'm like, I just want to get pumped up. And this kid back in the day, I think it's like 9 or 10 years old at this point, maybe even older. And he's playing basketball and somebody's filming this, either his dad or his coach or somebody. And I'm going to put this in the show notes so that you can go watch it. But he says, he's playing basketball and he stops. He's like, either you work hard for it or you don't work hard for it. Well, me and my brother, we work hard for our stuff. It don't come easy. In life, you have to work. Either you have to be the shark of the ocean or the fish of the ocean. All right, I'm going to be the shark. Take everything over. Strength, no weakness, power, the muscle. You have to have that mindset. So you're going to come in here and dominate. But when you say, oh, something's wrong, no. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself down. Motivate yourself. Keep yourself up, pumped, and ready for any challenge that comes. Anytime I watch that video, it gets me so pumped. And I want to end on that because I think him saying that in the middle of like, you have to have that mindset. You're going to come in here and you're going to dominate. Okay. I think that's one of the best mindsets you can have about life is that every day I'm going to win the day. All right. And that's when it comes to, fitness, nutrition, sleep, all these things. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to dominate life. And that will help you understand how you can live your best life. All right. That's all I got, guys. Hopefully that helps. I really enjoyed listening to Aaliyah Crum talk about mindsets because she puts it in simplistic form and it makes you realize like the way you think about things has an impact on your way your body actually responds to things. It's really cool. So if you have any questions about mindsets or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk about it. That's all I got. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Get after it.